The Owen James Report is brought to you by
This program is brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care. Grace Kennedy Money Services has been here for you and your family, here and abroad, because we understand that you're receiving more than money. You're receiving their love. Grace Kennedy Financial Group has been here for you because we know it's more than just investments, insurance, or banking. It's about security and creating a path to realizing your dreams. For 90 years, honesty, integrity, and trust. The Grace Kennedy Group, we choose to care.
Good evening, this is the Owen James Report, and we begin with a developing business story. In a surprise move this morning, the regulatory agency, the Financial Services Commission, the FSC, began an audit of the securities company Stocks and Securities Ltd. to assess the affairs of the company following the sale of its repo book to JN Fund Management earlier this year. In a tersely worded statement this afternoon, the FSC said it issued directions to SSL, essentially limiting the activities of the company, though some activities will be allowed, but not without prior approval of the FSC. Additionally, the FSC says its actions seek to facilitate the preservation of the assets of the company, mitigate against severe market impact, and further its mandate to protect investors. The FSC has emphasized that those former SSL investors now at JN Fund Management are not impacted by its decision to audit the company, but says it's trying to protect the interest of a small but sophisticated group of investors remaining with Stocks and Securities Ltd. Now, earlier today, the FSC had published a notice in the Gleaner newspaper advising investors that Stocks and Securities Ltd. continued to be regulated and supervised by the Commission. The OJR understands that since the sale of its repo portfolio to Jamaica National Fund Management, Stocks and Securities Ltd. has morphed into a full-fledged advisory and custodial entity and not a balance sheet-oriented business. It still has Jamaican bonds and does business with the Jamaican Stock Exchange and has several high-end clients. We'll have more on this developing story tomorrow. News on the Jamaican stock market now, and gains by key financial stocks such as NCB, Scotia Group, and Sagicor Investments triggered advances in the Jamaican stock market indices today. The main JC index advanced by 514 points, or 0.3%. Should persons over 50 consider investing in stocks too risky? Not necessarily, says Claudette Crooks-Colley, president of Money Masters Limited.
It depends on your individual profile. So the business of creating money for yourself really is very personal, which is why you need to sit and deal with it on a one-to-one basis.
Mrs. Crooks-Colley was speaking at A2 M2 Credit Union's recent investor forum. Finally, on the foreign exchange market, the benchmark American dollar weakened by 2 cents Jamaican, closing at an average selling rate of $104.99. However, both the Canadian dollar and the British pound strengthened to record highs against the Jamaican dollar. The Canadian dollar jumped by 80 cents Jamaican, closing at an average selling rate of $103.26, whilst sterling strengthened by 80 Jamaican cents to close at $171.31. That's the Owen James Report. Good evening.
The Owen James Report was brought to you by
Grace Kennedy. This program was brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care.